What's happening, sports fans? How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Good day to you. And Max Kellerman, where have you been? Inquiring minds wanted to know. Well, we have found him. He ended up on Bill Simmons' podcast, and the conversation went to ESPN's First Take and his former co-host, Stephen A.Smith. We're going to talk about that in this segment. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that follow button, and subscribe to the YouTube channels. Those channels are Kendrick Sports Hustle as well as TFG Sports Media. Max Kellerman, who was the hand-picked co-host of Stephen A. Smith on First Take a few years back, lasted 5 years. Well, that relationship did not go well, and it ended 5 years later. I believe they started together around 2017, 2016. Max Kellerman would go on and get his own show on ESPN. That wouldn't last very long, and then he fell off the face of the earth. Well, he fell back to earth on Bill Simmons' podcast a few days ago, and the conversation went where we knew it would. How was it working with Stephen A., and what happened? What was the reasoning behind him no longer being on First Take? He didn't go into a lot of details, but he did talk about his relationship with his former co-host. Here it is. This is Max Kellerman in his own words. This is an audio clip from the Bill Simmons podcast. We'll take a listen to that, then I'll come back and give you my take on it. Here is Max Kellerman.
That doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
You're talking about me like I'm not sweating anybody like that. But I was very flattered that, because if you go off the air, you're not sure that the sports world would care, right? But people seem to care. I was like, oh, look at that. People are thinking about me. I was very flattered by it, to tell you the truth. And in terms of the stuff that went down behind the scenes, there were things said to me in private that early on that it's not like anyone said to me, hey, this is top secret, don't repeat this. But I think there's a general understanding that if someone's talking to you in private, it's a private conversation. And I wouldn't repeat that unless they said it was okay to repeat what they told. Stephen A. was the one partner I've ever had over years, where I didn't feel like a relationship was really forming. And I like to go to work and
You could feel a little bit watching it. And it was hard to tell how much of it was theater and how much of it was like, oh, these guys just don't get along in the same way, or
whatever you feel about who you're working with and what the situation is. To me, a cardinal sin is betraying that on the air. You should always be thinking about making the show entertaining.
Right.
And I do think it reached the point on that show where it was like, come on, dude. We get the first priority is to make Stephen A. has no hot takes. Stephen A. almost never, I can't think of any counterintuitive conclusions that he ever reaches. That's not his job on the air. His job is to be the big reactor to a counterintuitive conclusion. Reactor. He's there to hear the crazy conclusion that his partner has come to and actually be the everyman with a loud voice. Like, you are crazy, right? And do it theatrically. So there's a lot of pressure on his partner to come up with a counterintuitive conclusion. If you're doing a debate show and you're a competitive person, why would you want me as a partner? That's bad. You want to go 15 rounds every day with Muhammad Kellerman? That's just bad. It's embarrassing,
Again, that was Max Kellerman speaking on his time as Stephen A. Smith's co-host on ESPN's First Take. My thoughts on this, I think we all saw that combination, it was a strained one. It didn't seem like it was natural. It really didn't seem like they had any type of chemistry. And I say this, when you're doing debate shows, if it's a two-person debate show, you definitely got to have some sort of chemistry, because the viewers can tell when the two aren't really connecting. You can tell that. But again, on debate shows, you have to have one that's kind of the antagonizer, I should say. You got to have one. Both people can't have the same, takes on all the subjects, especially in sports. So for that debate show to work, because you got to have one arguing their side and the other one arguing their side. They can't both agree all the time. I get that. That's the formula you got to have for a good debate show, is to have those two differing opinions. But you also have to have chemistry, though. And I thought that was the thing that lacked with Max and Stephen A. They just did not lack chemistry, and Max Kellerman would say that they really didn't have any type of relationship. The only one they had was the one you saw in front of the camera, and it showed. And so I like Max Kellerman. I thought that he probably wasn't a good fit for this show because we all know Stephen A. Very in your face, loud, demonstrative, and he wants to be the one that has the last say all the time. So, but it's good to hear from Max. I like him as a boxing analyst. I always had. I did not know he was as versed as he was in certain sports. Now, I do think that he had some of his takes was out there, but a lot of them are. Even Stephen A's, in my opinion, and Skip Bayless's, and the Nick Wrights, and all those guys. I get it. You know, it's a debate show. You there to entertain the viewer. It's kind of like wrestling in a way when you think about it. It's all a setup. That's just my thoughts. I'd like to know what you guys thought about Max Kellerman, him talking about his time at ESPN and his relationship with Stephen A. Were you surprised? Talk to me in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm Kendrick, the sports guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.